welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video of Wife Talk Wednesdays. I'm super excited because you guys are loving wife talks, and I'm so happy that you guys are loving them because I was a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, I was scared to kind of get out there and have these type of conversations because sometimes they could not be received so well, and I guess I was afraid of being judged. But guess what, nonetheless we are here and I am excited to continue bringing the content to you guys. So as you see by the title today, we are talking about postpartum. And the truth is, postpartum is significantly harder than those 9 months of carrying, okay? I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I don't care how well it looks like my life is put together or anybody else's, even when it comes to celebrities. Postpartum is significantly harder than pregnancy. So before we dive deep into it, if you're new here, you definitely want to go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and go ahead, hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. And if you're not new here, welcome back, and let's get straight into today's video. I had the luxury, and I say luxury, I was grateful enough to experience postpartum twice, okay? I had my daughter in 2019, and then in 2022 I brought my son into the world. I am incredibly grateful to even be able to have those experiences and share those experiences. Let me first and foremost say that. But I also say that after pregnancy was it was the utmost hardest, okay? Now I'm gonna take you to my first delivery. So my first kiddo, I had her while we were living in Italy. If you guys do not know, if you're not following me on the Instagram, that is the first platform that obviously knew that I lived in Italy, because obviously I shared the experience. But we gave birth to our daughter in Italy, and it wasn't a bad experience. She actually came on her due date. So I say she was supposed to be here because she was supposed to be here. She was born on her due date at like 12:21 a.m. okay? It was not a difficult pregnancy. However, I did have a little bit of high risk moment, and I was supposed to be sitting down after 28 weeks, but I'm telling you now, I was not sitting still. We were traveling from Dubai to London. I'm sorry, we were just everywhere, and I just wanted to experience some things before I obviously, of course, gave birth to our daughter. Now come time for me to give birth to her, it was the most incredible thing ever. Obviously, of course, my husband was there, and as well as I had the luxury of having my mom with me thousands of miles away in a completely different country in Italy. And the experience, like I say, nonetheless, it was top tier. And but when you are giving birth, you do have the option to take the epidural, but it does not last long as in America if you were to get the epidural, as well as it is not as strong, meaning you have full function of your body. You can get up, you can walk around, you have mobility, so you're not just chained down to a bed. You can move around and things of that sort. Now initially, yes, I was like, you know what, the pain is just unbearable. Let me go ahead and get it. But I was in labor about 6 hours, a solid 6 hours, and I think it lasts maybe 3 hours, and it was time for me to get more epidural. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I declined it because I was having hot flashes and it just was not for me. And I just said, if I'm going to experience this and feel this pain, let me just feel this pain without the other side effects that the epidural was doing for me. So I would rather it not be in my body. And basically they explained like, okay, well, you're going to feel some things, and I understood that, and yes, of course I did feel some things, but nonetheless she was blessed and born into this world. And I remember after giving birth, I was thinking like, whoo, Father God, thank you, I can sleep on my stomach again, my side again. And that was just a rude awakening of what was to come, because after getting birth, you are immediately, not a few seconds to think about it, you are immediately responsible for someone else, okay? I mean, it is what it is. When I gave birth in Italy, when I went back to my room, I had to share a room with another party, and that's just how it is there. So I had someone else in the room with me before I could go to a private room. So I was sharing a room for about a day before I went to a private room, and the private private room was like an apartment, okay? And once I got to the private room, of course, the meals were great. Everything was great. But I think the transition happened, obviously, of course, once you get home and you realize that you are now your own help along with your spouse. And in our case, I've shared with you before, it was the first time, of course, for us having children. So having to share that experience together was amazing. However, it was so hard because of the sleep schedule on top of your body healing and just being so restless. And like I said, we were thousands of miles away, so we did not have the village that we would have loved to have when it came to postpartum life, okay? So that was that. My husband was off work for about 14 days, and after that, it was on me. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm capable of being able to provide and cater to someone so small and know their every need. Like, I'm so new to this, you know? And I remember being so scared and looking at myself in disgust because I'm like, who is this person? I'm not the same person I was just a month ago. Like, it was the hardest part, you know? And then on top of that, because we are a military family, when my husband did return to work, he had to leave for about a few weeks at a time, and my mom had to go back home. So I was by myself with a 1-month-old baby with no help. I was my only help. I had no one to say, hey, can you come over for a second and do this? Hey, can I take a shower? It was so difficult. But I fought through it. I got through it. And, you know, they say it takes about 2 years before you are back to your normal self when it comes to like hormones and all of those things of sort, especially after giving birth. And 2 years is a long time to see yourself again. It's just being completely honest. 24 months is an entire long time to see yourself again and to watch yourself go through mental changes, watch yourself go through body changes. I remember crying in the bathroom. I mean, crying my eyes out because my hair came out so much. I've shared in the recent video some of the things that I use for my hair now because I'm still trying to nurse my hair back to this healthy state. But I remember crying because I had balls of hair in my hand. And if you guys have been following me or if you have not been following me, I've always had a head full of hair. I've always had so much hair. So to see that much hair come out at one time, I just didn't know what to do, what to say. I just remember crying, and I just remember, okay, it'll grow back. At some point, it'll grow back. And just thinking to myself, how can I be comfortable taking pictures with my new body? How can I be comfortable taking pictures and my hair isn't the same? And I know we get so caught up on, you know, who we are, but not thinking about the blessing that we're blessed with. And I just want you guys to know that I have always been right there with you, especially when it comes to those type things, you know. And I had to snap myself back into reality to understand that this is just momentarily. The hair will come back. The weight will come off as long as I nurse myself back to getting the weight off. As long as whether it's the strict diet, watching what I'm eating, I will get back to myself. I just have to give myself time. And just like I gave myself time, you have to give yourself time. And sometimes longer than others, I know. You have to give yourself time. And I'm also there with those moms and those spouses who, as soon as they get past the hurdle of saying, okay, I got my body back, I got my life back, bam, you're pregnant again. And guess what? That was me. In 2021, we got pregnant with our son, who is now getting ready to be 2. We got pregnant with our son, and I just remember saying, okay, well, I'm ready for the changes after pregnancy this time because I know what comes with them. So I'm not even worried this time around. And I remember I was like, also we're at home, so it'll be a little bit different. We got family here, so things will be different. It's just what I kept telling myself, I guess, to kind of psych myself up that I would be in a better place. And I remember delivering my son, and this time I had no time for epidural, okay? I remember getting to the hospital at 5:15, in the parking lot at 5:15. Finally got upstairs at 5:25. Finally got to an actual room at about 5:38. And 5:44, my son was here. So there was not enough time to get any type of medication or anything to prepare me. I didn't even have a COVID test, and y'all know how important they were about taking COVID tests. But nonetheless, there was just not enough time to prepare me. And I took that moment, and I had to be full transparent in that moment and said, wow, just as fast as I delivered my son is just as fast life can change. And I can't allow this after effect of postpartum to just shape and shift my whole momentum, my whole life for an extended amount of time. When you're in the midst of something, I know it feels like the worst thing ever. I know, because I've been there, and a lot of times I'm still there, but it gets better. It gets better. When my hair started coming out after my son, it was like, okay, this was to be expected. I went through this before. When my weight was fluctuating, it was like, this is to be expected. I went through this before. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was a little bit older the second time, so things take a little bit longer, okay, to get back to where they need to get back to. But I say all this to say that, yes, postpartum is harder than pregnancy. And yes, postpartum can last up to 24 months, 2 years after having your child. Think about 3 years of your life, because if you ask me, that's 3 years. Pregnancy plus postpartum, 3 years of your life. You're going through an emotional roller coaster of finding yourself, losing yourself, seeing yourself in a good place, not seeing yourself in a good place, the weight fluctuation, the hair. It's just so many changes. And those are the changes that I experienced, not let alone some of the experiences that other people have went through, whether it was skin breakouts or just when I tell y'all, because y'all know, a lot of you guys are moms. It's just so many changes that you go through as a mom, and I don't want nobody to feel like that nobody has not been in that place before. I am not the person to get on any type of social media platform and complain about pregnancy or complain about my experience of pregnancy or after the effects, because I know for a fact, one, how hard it was to conceive, and second of all, I know how hard it is for women who are trying to conceive, and it just has not been successful. It has not been their time yet, and they want to have children. So I think it's insensitive to complain about things that you just should not be complaining about. So you guys will never ever see me complain about any of those type of things when it comes to pregnancy, because that is not a place, or that is not an emotional place that nobody deserves to even hear. Should we talk about some of the complications and things we deal with? Absolutely. But complain? Absolutely not. So I say all those things to 100% say that though dealing with pregnancy is one thing, postpartum is a completely different life. And now that I am coming up on my 24-month mark after having my child, and still going through some of the things that I thought that I would be at the end of, it's hard, and I still don't, of course, because we are a military family, we don't have that close-knit village. So it's my husband and me running every bit of the show. And it gets incredibly hard, because men deal with postpartum too, because it's a lot on them. It's a lot of new changes for them. They have to adjust to our changes. So it's like the constant understanding, like, okay, I gotta be here for us. I can't be, insensitive to what my spouse is feeling. And that goes as far as us as well. We can't be insensitive to what our spouses are feeling. They get tired, they get overwhelmed as well. All of this is new to them, though they're not physically 100% dealing with the same exact thing we're dealing with. It's just the fact that because they're in this nutshell, they're still dealing with it. Okay, so I don't want no one to feel as if, you know, you have the baby and okay, it's all, you know, peaches and cream, because in a nutshell, it is peaches and cream. But because you are becoming this new person, because you are now in charge of this new person, it's a different life. It is a different way of life, which again, I want to be able to show you guys and let you guys know, like, it was hard. It got hard for me. I was in the trenches, okay? I was in the trenches, and it just felt like there was no means to an end at all. But I want you to know that those blessings that we get blessed with, it's just that 3 years that we go through pregnancy and postpartum is just minuscule to the rest of our life and the blessings we get to have and carry on. Okay, life is hard, parenting is hard, wifing is hard. It's different type of hards, and it's different levels to the hard, because you have to keep showing up in all of those roles, because it's important to keep showing up. But that doesn't mean, or it doesn't take away from who we are. It doesn't make me feel, or you shouldn't feel, less of a person, because these are the things that I'm going through right now in postpartum, and I just feel like I can't get out of. I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel to get out of. Give yourself time to heal mentally. People always talk about physically healing. Give yourself time to heal mentally, and everything will come back to its senses in the way things should be. Okay, like I said, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't have the village that I would desire to have when it comes to raising our children. But because I can't sit and glow in a, you know, I just can't be in a rut all the time about not having what I would desire to have, because I have my children. That's the biggest desire that I desire to have. My husband, that's the biggest desire that I desire to have. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. And I just wanted to get on here and let you guys know that, especially a lot of you, I see you. I feel where you are. I empathize where you are, because in a lot of those cases, I am there or I have been there, and it's hard. And I just want you to see that there is someone out there, that is someone that you can talk to and converse with, that mimics your life on so many levels, and they don't see you any differently. And no one talks about how hard it is looking at someone else in the mirror that you no longer know. No one talks about how hard it is trying to love yourself after you feel like you've seen yourself at your worst. No one talks about it. Okay? But guys, that's it. That's all that I have for you guys today. I wanted you guys to just know that I'm here. I am 100% here. It's hard for me a lot of days, a lot of times, just like it is for you. It's hard. Postpartum is hard. Again, I'm coming up almost on my 2 years, but I feel like now that I was over 30 having my second kid, that it takes a little bit longer. And nobody also talks about that, how things take a lot longer to heal the older you get, you know? Like my first pregnancy, it was like, okay, cool, we got over it. But it's like now I feel like things are like dragging a little bit more when it comes to like healing. And again, it doesn't always mean physically healing. It means, you know, mentally healing and just getting back to a healthy state of mind and a healthy place. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you had a moment to like decompress and feel better about yourself after watching today's video. As always, if you have any recommendations or anything of that sort, by all means, drop them in the comments so we can converse there. But until next time, until another Wife Talk Wednesdays, I will see you guys later. Bye.